Welcome, seekers of magic and mystery. Today, we journey deep into the heart of the Hidden Glen, a place untouched by time, where whispers of ancient fairies still drift through the mist. Whispers of the Hidden Glen. A fairy's secret unveils a tale of wonder, betrayal, and forgotten enchantments buried beneath moonlit leaves. Prepare to uncover the truth behind a fairy's forbidden secret, one that could change the fate of both the mortal and fae realms forever. So light your lantern, open your heart to the unknown, and step quietly, for the fairies are always listening. Whispers of the Hidden Glen, a fairy's secret. The veiled heart of the forest. Deep within the emerald folds of the ancient elder tree forest lies a place untouched by mortal feet, a secluded haven known only in whispers and lullabies. This is the Hidden Glen, where moonlight dances like liquid silver on dew-soaked leaves, and the air hums with a quiet pulse of old magic. Travelers who wander too far into its depths tell tales of faint music carried by the wind, flutes that sound like bird calls, laughter as soft as falling petals, and shadows that shimmer rather than darken. Few have ever found the glen, and fewer still have returned unchanged. In this timeless sanctuary lives a fairy named Lyriel, keeper of the glen's most sacred secret. Her wings glimmer with hues of twilight, soft amethyst fading into sapphire, and her voice carries the gentleness of rain over moss. Yet behind her beauty and grace lies a burden no mortal could comprehend. She guards the boundary between the human world and the ancient realm of the fae. The glen, though serene, holds a secret powerful enough to alter the balance of both realms. And that secret, Lyriel's secret, is not merely one of beauty and light, but of love, betrayal, and the perilous cost of truth. Part 1. The Whispering Veil. The Hidden Glen is not seen, it is felt. Mortal eyes cannot perceive it unless the veil of magic permits them. The trees grow in spirals, their roots weaving together like threads of fate. The glen's pond mirrors not the sky, but one's deepest desires. It is a living threshold between what is and what could be. Long ago, before the glen was sealed, it was said to be the meeting place of mortals and fairies. Humans once brought offerings of milk and honey, leaving them at twilight in hopes of blessings. In return, fairies whispered dreams into their sleep, visions of love, courage, and prosperity. But when greed replaced reverence, the bond fractured. The humans sought to control what they once revered, and the fairies withdrew into shadow. Lyriel's ancestors wove enchantments that cloaked the glen from mortal sight, ensuring its peace would never again be disturbed. For centuries, the glen remained undisturbed, a breathing myth sustained by silence. But magic is never idle. It listens, stirs, and remembers. Part 2. The Human Who Dreamed. In the nearby village of Hollowmere lived Aidan Thornbrook, a young scholar and herbalist. Unlike most of his kin, he believed in the old tales, the songs of dryads, the moonlit revels of fairies, and the hidden doors that flickered open on Midsummer's Eve. His fascination was not one of superstition, but of longing. His mother had vanished in the forest when he was a child, leaving behind a silver pendant shaped like a leaf, a token the villagers claimed was enchanted. They whispered she had been taken by the fairies. Driven by equal parts love and curiosity, Aidan spent his nights studying maps of the forest, collecting folklore, and deciphering the symbols carved into old stones. On one fateful evening, when the moon was full and the wind carried the scent of blooming heather, he heard it, a melody faint and fragile, threading through the air like a sigh. The sound drew him into the woods, beyond the known paths, until the forest seemed to breathe around him. There, beneath an arch of twisted oaks, he found it, the veil. It shimmered like morning mist, rippling with unseen light. Before he could question what he saw, a whisper brushed his ear. "Do you seek what cannot be found, mortal?" He turned and beheld Lyriel. Part 3. The Fairy of the Glen. Lyriel's presence was both enchanting and unsettling. Her eyes were ancient, like starlight reflected in water, yet her voice carried the warmth of a hearth. She regarded Aidan with cautious wonder. Few humans had crossed the veil in centuries. The air thickened with enchantment, every heartbeat echoing in the stillness between them. "I did not mean to intrude," Aiden stammered, "but I followed the music. It called to me." Lyriel smiled faintly, though her gaze softened with sorrow. "The glen does not call without reason. Perhaps it remembers you." She extended her hand, and the silver leaf pendant around Aiden's neck glowed faintly in response. Lyriel's expression faltered. The pendant was no trinket. It was a binding charm, one only bestowed upon those who had once entered the glen. His mother had not been taken. She had been invited. The revelation stirred something within Lyriel, a memory buried deep beneath centuries of silence. She had known Aiden's mother, Elisera, a human who had once loved a fairy lord. Their union had been forbidden, yet their love had blossomed in the secrecy of the glen. When mortals turned against the Fae, Elisera sacrificed her freedom to protect the fairy realm, becoming part of the glen's eternal essence. The pendant was her heart's echo, carrying the promise that her lineage would one day return. Lyriel realized that Aiden's arrival was no accident. It was destiny unfolding. Part 4. The Secret Beneath the Roots. The Hidden Glen was sustained by a crystal heart buried beneath its sacred pond, a fragment of the Elder Stone, the primal core of fairy magic. Lyriel was its guardian, bound to ensure its protection. The Elder Stone not only preserved the glen's beauty, but also held the memories and souls of those who had merged with its power, including Elisera. However, something had begun to stir beneath the waters. The Elder Stone was fading, its light dimming. Shadows from the mortal world, born of greed and disbelief, had begun to poison the balance. The fading of belief in magic weakens the Fae, and the veil between worlds begins to thin. Aiden's arrival had awakened the stone's dormant resonance. The pendant he carried acted as a key, attuned to the Elder Stone's rhythm. Lyriel understood that if the bond between human and fairy could be renewed, the magic of the glen might be restored. But with restoration came risk. The law of the Fae forbade emotional attachment between their kind and mortals. To break that law was to forfeit immortality. Lyriel had watched Elisera Part 5, The Blooming of Trust. Over days that melted into weeks, Aiden remained in the glen, learning its secrets under Lyriel's guidance. He learned the songs that made flowers bloom, the language of fireflies, and the way moonlight could weave dreams into reality. Lyriel showed him how magic was not a force to command, but a harmony to respect. Their bond deepened quietly, like roots intertwining beneath soil. They spoke of the old days when humans and fairies danced together, and of how fear had driven them apart. Lyriel confessed her loneliness, that immortality without connection was a hollow blessing. Aiden, in turn, revealed the ache of living among those who saw wonder as foolishness. One night, beneath the glow of starlit petals, he said softly, "Perhaps the old magic never left. It simply waited for us to remember." Those words, so simple yet profound, stirred Lyriel's heart. For the first time in centuries, she felt something forbidden. Hope. Part 6. The Coming Storm. But peace is fragile. The village of Hollowmere had begun to notice strange occurrences, flickering lights in the forest, whispers in the wind, crops that grew unnaturally lush. The village elder, driven by fear and greed, gathered a band of hunters to seek the witch's glade that haunted their borders. They carried iron weapons, salt, and fire, poisons to the Fae. Lyriel sensed their approach through the tremor of the earth. The veil would not hold against such aggression. To defend the glen, she would have to call upon the Elder Stone's full power. Yet doing so risked destroying both herself and the fragile harmony she and Aiden had begun to rebuild. Aiden pleaded with her to flee with him, to cross into the mortal world and find sanctuary. But Lyriel knew the truth. If she left the glen unguarded, the Elder Stone would shatter, and the magic of the forest would die forever. In the end, love demanded sacrifice. Part 7. The Last Whisper. As the hunters breached the veil, the glen erupted in blinding light. Lyriel rose like a storm of crystal wings, her form radiating both fury and sorrow. The air shimmered with enchantments as she wove illusions that turned fire to mist and iron to rust. Yet the humans' fear was relentless. They swung their blades at shadows, cutting through the sacred trees that anchored the glen's life. The elder stone cracked. The earth screamed. Aiden, desperate to protect her, threw himself between Lyriel and a blade meant for her heart. His blood struck the roots of the elder tree, binding his mortal essence to the fading magic. In that moment, Lyriel's tears fell upon him, and she whispered the last spell of her kind, one that would merge his spirit with the glen itself. The forest fell silent. When dawn came, the hunters fled, their minds fractured by what they had seen. The veil closed once more, stronger than before, hiding the glen from mortal eyes for eternity. Within its heart, two lights glowed beneath the pond, one of sapphire, one of gold, intertwined forever. Epilogue: the secret that endures. Centuries passed, and the tale of the Hidden Glen faded into folklore. Yet those who wander the edges of Elder Tree Forest on moonlit nights sometimes hear faint music drifting through the mist, an otherworldly harmony of flute and laughter. Some claim to see two figures dancing across the water surface, a fairy with twilight wings and a man of light, their hands entwined. It is said that Lyriel and Aiden now dwell as one within the magic of the glen, guardians of the border between belief and forgetting. The elder stone thrives again, nourished by their eternal bond, a living reminder that love, when pure, transcends the laws of both magic and mortality. Those who listen carefully may still hear the whisper of the glen. Magic is not gone, only hidden. Seek not with your eyes, but with your heart. Explanation: themes, symbolism, and meaning. Whispers of the Hidden Glen, a fairy's secret, explores the enduring tension between belief and skepticism, love and duty, and mortality and immortality. At its heart, it is a tale about the reconciliation of two worlds, human and fae, that once coexisted in harmony before being divided by greed and fear. 1. The Glen as symbol. The Hidden Glen represents the subconscious, the sacred place within the human spirit where wonder and imagination dwell. Its invisibility to mortals mirrors humanity's loss of connection to nature and the mystical. Only those who believe can find it, suggesting that faith in magic, or in beauty beyond logic, is essential to rediscovering spiritual truth. 2. Lyriel's role. As the guardian fairy, Lyriel embodies balance and sacrifice. Her duty binds her to immortality, yet her empathy makes her yearn for human connection. She personifies the struggle between eternal responsibility and personal longing, reflecting the universal theme of the cost of love in the face of destiny. 3. Aiden's journey. Aiden represents curiosity and remembrance. His quest is not for power, but for understanding. His bloodline connects him to both realms, human and fae, making him a bridge between them. His eventual sacrifice restores the balance, proving that belief can heal even ancient divisions. For the Elder Stone and the Veil. The Elder Stone symbolizes the living essence of faith and memory. Its dimming parallels humanity's waning belief in the mystical. When Aiden's love rekindles its light, it suggests that love and wonder are the true sources of magic, forces that endure even when forgotten. 5. The central message. Ultimately, the story teaches that magic is sustained not by spells, but by belief, love, and harmony with nature. The fairy secret is not the glen itself. It is the truth that the world's enchantment never vanished. Humans simply stopped listening. By blending mythic romance with allegorical depth, Whispers of the Hidden Glen reawakens the timeless message found in folklore across cultures, that the extraordinary is hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with hearts brave enough to see. Thank you for venturing with us into the Hidden Glen, where every whisper carries a secret and every shadow hides a trace of ancient magic. If Whispers of the Hidden Glen, a fairy's secret, captured your imagination, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the world of myth and mystery. Leave your thoughts below. What do you think the fairy's secret truly means? Until next time, keep your eyes open and your spirit attuned to the unseen, for magic is never far away. It only waits for those who still believe.